3 years ago, an accident took my legs, my independence, and nearly my will to live. But it gave me him in a way I never expected. First, I owe a huge thank you to my incredible subscribers. Lucky that the semi-truck didn't crush me completely. Lucky that my spine wasn't severed. Lucky my son Alex wasn't in the car with me that night. Lucky, they said. A funny word for a woman who can't walk more than 10 steps without her legs screaming in protest. Our little house in Ohio used to feel too big when Alex was at school. Now it feels too small. He's everywhere. Cooking meals, adjusting my pillows, lifting me into the shower when my muscles give out. My boy, my man. Because that's the thing no one warns you about when you have a kid at 18. One day they grow up. Really up. Alex was always tall, but at 20 he's broad. His shoulders squared from years of working construction. His hands are rough, his voice deep, and his eyes. God, his eyes. Just like his father's. The one who left me the second that pregnancy test turned pink. Mom. I jump, pulling myself back to the present. Alex stands in the doorway holding a bowl of soup. You didn't eat lunch, he says, his voice thick with concern. I wasn't hungry, I mutter, though it's not true. You never are. He sets the bowl on my nightstand, frowning. Your leg's acting up again. I don't answer because he already knows that he always knows. Without asking, he sits on the edge of my bed, rolling up my sweatpants. My breath hitches as he touches my skin. The relief of the pain melting away. But when his fingertips brush the edge of my shorts, I stop breathing. He stops too. The air between us crackles. Neither of us moves for a moment. Then, and for the first time in years, I feel something other than pain, something dangerous. The morning lights spilled through the curtains, too bright, too cheerful for the storm inside my head. I hadn't slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt Alex's hands on me, warm, calloused, lingering. I told myself it was nothing. A son helping his mother, a caretaker easing pain. But the way my skin burned under his touch, that wasn't pain. The creak of Alex's door down the hall snapped me back to reality. I quickly adjusted the blanket over my lap, as if he could see the thoughts racing through my mind. Footsteps. Then his shadow filled my doorway. You're up early, he said, his voice rough with sleep. He was shirtless, sweatpants slung low on his hips, a tattoo curling over his ribs, one he'd gotten last year without asking me. I couldn't sleep, I muttered, looking away. Lex again, he asked, feeling the familiar chill of his touch. Sorry, he muttered. Cold hands. It wasn't the coldness that made me tense. It was the way his fingers pressed into my skin, slow and deliberate. The way my stomach tightened when I caught him looking at me. Not like a son looks at his mother, but like a man looks at a woman. A knock at the front door shattered the moment. Alex jerked back, smirking. My heart skipped a beat. Suspects what? That we never paid her back for the casserole dish she brought last month, he said with a wink. I forced a laugh, but my hands trembled. For a second I thought he meant us. That night, the storm knocked out the power, plunging the house into darkness. Alex lit candles, the flickering glow casting shadows across his face. He sat beside me on the couch, close enough that I could feel the heat of him. You cold? He asked. No, I lied. Liar. He draped a blanket over us anyway. Our legs brushed beneath it, and neither of us moved away. The wind hauled outside, a tree branch scraping against the roof like fingernails on glass. Then his hand found mine. Not an accident. Not a casual touch. The electricity came back on suddenly, flooding the room with light. We sprang apart like we'd been burned, but the current between us didn't disappear. It had only grown stronger. One kiss. That's all it took to break us. We didn't make it to the bedroom. Alex pinned me to the couch, his hips grinding down as I clawed at his shirt. The fabric tore at the collar, but neither of us cared. Look at me, he growled. When I did, what I saw shattered me. This wasn't just lust in his eyes. It was love. The kind that breaks bones, the kind that leaves scars. Afterward, as we lay tangled in silence, Alex traced idle circles on my bare shoulder. You okay? He asked quietly. I didn't know how to answer.
No.
Yes. He knew I was lying just like I knew he wasn't sorry. When he finally spoke again, his voice was so quiet I almost missed it. I've wanted you since I was 15. My stomach dropped because that meant this wasn't an accident. It was an inevitability. Some silences are louder than words.